Richmond fans, welcome back to this very, very exciting video. I'm going to cut to the chase. We've got some father-son prospects coming up in the next few years. Jack Leys is one of them. He's not eligible until 2026, so we won't get to see full access to him this year. But he's the son of former Richmond player Brian Leys, who played 110 games for the Tigers, so just qualifies and kicked 19 goals. But young Jack played under 16s last year in the SANFL for Woodville West Torrens Eagles in the SANFL. He played 10 games in the SANFL last year, 3 goals, averaged 28.2 disposals at 76% efficiency, which is pretty good going. No matter what level you're playing, they're pretty good numbers. Now, from what I could tell, the team as a whole probably wasn't a very strong or successful side, but Jack definitely did stand out in the games I was able to watch, and it is extraordinarily hard to find vision of these games, let me assure you. So I've been sifting through hours and hours of footage to find these clips that we're seeing here. So hopefully you all enjoy it. But he's played mainly as a midfielder. The one thing that stood out for me is he seems to have pretty explosive speed around the contest. A few times where he burst away from players to collect a ball in space, or to chase up to the next contest and things like that. And he also looks to have a bit of leadership as well about him while out there as well. Now, I'm not sure if this is because the overall standard of his team's a little bit lower. Just their results don't speak very well, but he shows good leadership on the field with giving some good direction, being very vocal. So it's good to see that's a natural trait for him to have. And I know that's something that not just Richmond, but all clubs have looked for in players previously. So that's a tick as well. He typically makes some good decisions in traffic, whether that's handballing out to a player running by. If he picks up the ball inside 50 and he's back towards goal, he's not trying to wheel around and snap a miracle goal. He will look for someone coming towards him. So just those small things that sort of show a team-first mentality are really nice to see as well, at under 16 age especially, because they can only build from that. The only thing that I probably didn't really like about Jack Leys' games that I saw, I just didn't feel like he worked hard enough defensively. So when it was an offensive attack, he was really good in getting into strong positions and working hard off the contest. But when the ball was turned over, or if there was a player nearby that could have been shut down, I just didn't feel like in these games for Woodville that he pushed to those contests to try and be an extra defender, an extra player to shut down the chain of possessions from the opposition. I don't know whether that's just an age thing or a maturity thing. I feel like it's something that's easily worked on, so I'm not too worried by it. But if it started to be something you saw week in, week out in the next couple of years, you'd be a bit concerned. But I then went and watched, he played 2 games for South Australia in the under-16 champs that were held in, I think it was July this year. In those games, he played as more of a winger or a half forward because the side's pretty stacked, as you can imagine, with the South Australian talent. Now, in there, he averaged 13 disposals, 3 tackles, 3 marks, and he kicked a goal. I feel like he was on a lot more limited game time there, possibly due to his age and just maybe the other caliber of players around him as well. But I will say that his defensive efforts in the South Australian games that I saw were miles better than what he was doing at club level. So I don't know whether playing at the higher level brought him to another level on that sense. Maybe his coaches had different instructions or identified it when they were training him for that game. They might have seen the same thing I saw. I don't know. But he was sprinting the shutdown opponents. He laid some really great tackles, second, third, fourth efforts. And it was just really noticeable for me, the change in his defensive mentality in those South Australian games, which was really pleasing because it means someone's spoken to him and he's taken it on board and he's changed what he was doing. So that was really, really good. Like I said, played predominantly as a winger, and sort of, it very much reminded me of what Camden McIntosh would do for us in sort of holding the width of the ground when the ball's on the opposite side. He was fairly disciplined in holding his position there. Wasn't ball hunting, trying to make a name for himself. He was just getting himself in the right spot when it was his turn to get the ball. Typically used it well. There's maybe one fairly bad clanger that I saw, but geez, it's under 16s. Clangers are going to happen at these levels, so I'm not going to speak too poorly about him for that. But Jack Leys, looking at a really nice prospect. Obviously, he'll play quite a bit of football this year for Woodville. I'm guessing he's going to play under 18s, and then he'll probably feature hopefully in the South Australian under 17 futures game, which will be sometime in 2025. So we'll keep an eye on that. But there you go. There is some highlights, some actual highlights for the first time we've been able to see of Jack Leys, a future father-son prospect for the Richmond Football Club in 2026. Make sure you get around the video, like and subscribe for more Richmond content, and I'll see you for the next one. Go Tigers.